it's Barry.
And Dave.
And Jerry.
And Dan.
Here with another exciting episode of Hooked on Headwaters. In today's episode, you got to hang on. We got lots of good information. We're going to be talking about how these guys did last week, what baits were working. We actually have a map today. We're going to be going over, showing some general areas that fish were being caught in. Quick little verbal hack this week that I'm going to talk about. And of course, we're going to mention our sponsors and all kinds of cool stuff. So definitely hang in there through the video and just jump down there and hit the like button, thumbs it up, whatever you got to do. Subscribe, do all that cool stuff. It really does help us out. We really appreciate it. So let's just get on with it. We're trying to speed this up just a little bit for you guys report wise, but we are going to be bringing back the maps. You'll see when we ordered a big one, so we'll have it up on a board.
Yeah. So we want to thank Stick Marsh Bait and Tackle for allowing us to film here. You need some bait, it's the place for you to go.
Yep.
Stop on by.
Absolutely. So there we go. You know what I'm not saying this year? I left that statement in last year, so.
Okay, I'll pick it up. With that said, we want to make sure we thank the Blue Cypress Lakeside Cabins. We appreciate their sponsorship. Folks, if you're looking for a rustic place to stay, that's it. The cabins are along the shore of Blue Cypress Lake. Really pretty place to stay. They're going to take care of you, place to dock your boat. It's right across the street from the boat ramp. It's one of the most beautiful lakes in this area, in my opinion, with the cypress growing at the middle, not middle of the lake, but off the shore. You can go in and out of the cypress trees. And, there's good fishing back in there. There's some big boys that have been caught. I think we posted one last week.
Yeah, we did.
So go check them out.
Jerry, you got some people that are staying there, right?
I got Ricky Cruz is staying there right now. Him and his buddy. I'm not sure what his buddy's name is, but yeah, I got clients coming in tomorrow that are staying there right now in the cabins.
Yeah, they're gonna love it.
Give Jim and Tammy a call.
They come in from Georgia.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're there right now.
So Jim and Tammy,
Yes, sir.
get hold of them.
All right.
Very good.
I'm going. The camera.
And on with the show. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and kick this off. Jerry's going to talk about how he did this last week, what was happening. So let's just go straight to it.
So we, trying to think where we started at. Saturday I had 3 people in Headwaters.
Okay.
I had Marissa, Jeff, and Billy. They came up from New Jersey, and we did really well. We caught probably 25 fish, but we caught some decent fish that day. We caught some 6s and some 7s.
Nice.
And then Sunday I had another group come in and fish with me for a little while, Mike and Anthony, and we did well that day. Same thing, same area. We fished the same area, and we caught some good fish there. Cold, but the fish were still, I mean, they were still there and they were still doing well. And then yesterday I went out and did some scouting, and I ended up catching one yesterday around 8 pounds, 12 ounces. Beautiful fish, female, fully loaded, at about 3 foot of water. So if I had to guess right, she was probably right in there around a bed or somewhere in that area. Had another trip today. I had Steve and Nancy. They came in from Illinois. Same thing, repeat, you know, just 25, 30 fish. They ended up missing a couple big fish this evening, right where I was fishing at yesterday afternoon around this time. Biggest fish they caught today was about 6.5 pounds. Got guys coming in tomorrow from Georgia that fished with me last year.
All right, so what time of day are you finding the better bite to be?
Evening.
Okay, from
about 1:30, 2 o'clock until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon is when these fish seem to be really coming alive.
Okay.
Now today it was a little earlier, but it was also 12 degrees warmer this morning at daylight than it was yesterday morning.
Okay, so getting up at the crack of dawn, hitting the ramp, trying to beat the crowd, don't even worry about it.
Really, truly, no. We met this morning up here at 7:15.
Okay.
And didn't even really start getting into them good until about 9:45. That was the minor feed, was 9:45, and then around 1 o'clock was the major feed for the day, and then same thing, right like clockwork, like they were supposed to do. And actually today they were in an area that I've been catching a lot of fish the last couple months, but the last week or so, 2 weeks, fish have not been in that area. They were back in there this afternoon.
Okay.
And one other thing that I did yesterday when I was by myself that I don't do a whole lot of is I did some artificial fishing. And I caught probably 10 or 12 bass yesterday afternoon on this little baby spook right here in this color.
On the baby.
Just walking the dog, easy, slow, pop, 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 let it sit, pop, 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 and just fishing those 3 and 4 foot flats. Just fishing the 3 and 4 foot flats.
Yep.
And just throwing up in the hydrilla pockets where there is no hydrilla. And we've been catching, I caught a bunch of fish in there yesterday doing that.
Right on.
So, I mean, if you guys are interested in doing any kind of saltwater fishing or anything like that, get you like a little baby spook. And that color right there, which I believe, I want to say it is a bluegill. That's the color they call that, a bluegill. Right there's the deal.
And they're pretty. Are they smacking it on the stall, on the sit, does dead stick, or?
As soon as you throw it in there, just let it sit until the ripples are gone.
Yep.
And then kind of just walk the dog and let it sit, and then actually take it and just let it sit, and then let it sit, and then
change up the cadence.
You just change it up a little bit, and they're hitting it on that pause. And I mean, they're not just coming up and grabbing it. I mean, they're smacking it. I mean, they're hitting it. They're after it.
Good. So it's a good sign. Top water's cranking along.
Yep. So top water's good, and I think Dan's got some stuff going on where he caught some on some lures this week that he hasn't been catching them on. So I mean, fish are still doing what they're supposed to do. It's just this weather it's changed things up for sure.
Yeah.
It was hot for so long, and now this cool weather's come in, and we've had a full moon sitting on top of us. So it's definitely got these fish. They're not in the pattern that they were in.
Yeah, right, out of their normal pattern.
So, but yeah, you can still catch them, that's for sure.
Very good. Cool. Yep. Moving on over. What you got?
This guy Dan, so I had
something else I was going to say, but
go ahead.
I hesitated. No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I interrupted you. I'm
okay.
sorry. So let's see. I had fish with John Furrow on Friday, which was another very cold day.
Yeah.
The weather report was saying 5-6 miles an hour, and it blew at least 15 all day long. But we did, however, catch some fish. We managed about, I think, around 25 fish.
Okay.
John got one about 4.5, I think was our biggest that day. No big giant fish. First thing in the morning, caught a couple on chatterbait and swim jigs.
What color on the chatterbait?
It was like a dark. What was it? He was
darker
throwing
colors.
I was throwing like a brown, like a blue. I like to kind of match the pattern of what's there. I throw real natural stuff that looks like these bluegill, which is a lot of browns. I think John was throwing like a black blue chatterbait. Dark. It was a dark colored chatterbait for sure. So later in the morning, we moved around and found some fish, some pretty good amount of fish. Where I saw you yesterday fishing the holes in the hydrilla.
That seems to be the deal right now. I mean, find those pockets.
Yeah. So I look for, I'm looking for clean hydrilla, that's got the depth to it and clean water. I really like fishing around the clean water. I feel like I do a lot better. Also caught some, of course, picked up a few here and there on swimming worms. Then actually caught some on a hard jerkbait too. I actually had good success on a hard jerkbait, suspending jerkbait, and working it as slow as you think you can work it, and then slow down. So, bop, 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 and let it sit. Go ahead, have a conversation. That's how I figured it out.
Exactly
I was talking with Mr. Furrow.
Better and eat a sandwich, come back.
Yeah, and don't move it. And they would hit it when it was every bite that we got. So what it turned out to be is we ended up both throwing the hard jerk baits. Now that has changed. I threw it yesterday. Didn't get them on a hard jerk bait yesterday. But anyway, moving on. Saturday I had an afternoon trip with another John and his father. I believe his dad's name is John Owens. Father and son team. They came up from Fort Lauderdale and Port St. Lucie, and the afternoon started out slow. We got met at the ramp about 1 o'clock, and we picked a couple fish here and there at some of my normal spots I usually catch them. We weren't catching them. So we made the last move of the day.
That's after you. That's where I was at, and I had left, and you come in there afterwards.
Right,
yes.
Right. So kudos to Jerry. He told me about this spot, so I got to get these guys, make sure they get some fish. And the last 45 minutes was gangbusters. It was every time you throw a shiner in, it was boom, boom, boom. Lost some big fish in there too. Saw them, you know how they'll push the shiner up and they'll blow up on it. You'll see part of the back of the fish.
That's right.
There's some nice fish in there.
What I have seen has changed in the last couple of weeks. Instead of fishing these canals and these drops, these breaks that have these hydrilla ledges on them, is I'm catching more of them now up against these matted cover.
Yep.
Hyacinths, water lettuce, you know, all that dollar weed that gets kind of up in there, where that stuff is blown up in there and it is jam-packed tight up in there, maybe 20, 30 yards off the bank, 40 yards off the bank, and there's just a whole line of it. I mean, it's just all, what it is, that wind's blowing it in, and then the next day it'll blow it out,
right back
blow
out.
it over to the other side. And these fish are just congregating up underneath this cover, and that's what's changing. They're not actually in these, I'm not saying they're not in the canals now where this hydrilla is, off these ledges, because we caught some today, but they haven't been there. But right now, they seem to be in that 3 to 4, 5 foot of water underneath this cover, up underneath this matted stuff. If you can get that shiner or them baits right up there to that cover, it's on. I mean, it's on.
Yep.
And that's where Dan was in there the other afternoon around this time too. It was about 5:15, wasn't it?
Yeah, we stayed till it wasn't dark, but darn close.
And it's like once you start, I mean, it takes a little bit sometimes. You'll sit there for 5-10 minutes and watch that cork and nothing happens, but it seems like once you catch 2 or 3,
Yep.
I don't know if it's the activity, the sugar scales in the water, the vibration, all the commotion going on, but it seems like once they start, they're it's on.
That's something that kind of a tip that I've found that you guys might do, and Jerry probably does this too. Saturday afternoon, we caught a fish, and then immediately had another bite. So these guys are reeling in fish. I'm baiting another line, getting another bait in there right now. And what that, in my opinion, I think these fish feel and hear this feeding activity, so they get excited. So then it triggers other fish to feed, and it was, I'm telling you, it was fast and furious. And if you can keep it rolling, I got a buddy that does commercial king fishing. Same thing. You get those fish biting, you get them, you keep them biting. The fish just kind of, they keep coming to that activity.
You hear that tinging and that tapping from them bait fish, you know, making that whatever that noise is they make that they hear, and they it's like a dinner bell. And right where Dan was fishing and catching those fish is where I caught that 812 last night, that female, and I mean she was just 25 inches long, 19-inch girth. I mean, she's just a monster fish.
I got the pick to prove it.
And 3, and I mean 2.5 foot of water. I mean 15 feet in front of me. You just exploded on the shiner.
Yeah. So yesterday, I had a trip yesterday. I had Bill and Kurt, and we were catching them in the morning. Actually, we caught them fairly early. Started off, of course, we'd thrown a swimming worm just to cover some water. Swim jig, didn't get anything on that. And about 9 o'clock, I saw a couple fish blow up, so started throwing some walking baits, and throwing a little Sammy and a Yozuri style walking bait, and did pretty good all the way till about 11 o'clock. We were still catching them on the top water. So, you know, but the water temperature was up to 60 degrees. Okay, so things kind of slowed down with that. Picked up a trick worm, natural color like watermelon, and fished it slow. Just a cast, let sink, and a twitch, pause, twitch, just fishing it.
What kind of weight you using on that trick?
No weight.
No weight? Just, okay.
Yeah, because there was almost virtually no wind yesterday.
Okay.
So
it was just getting a real slow fall, sink, just let it go.
Right.
Patient.
Correct.
Yep.
So something interesting happened. You're talking about catch one close to the boat. So Bill, I was trying to video with my phone. Bill had a fish on it because we had it was a combo trip yesterday where we did artificial and shiners. So Bill's fighting a fish. I was trying to video it, and I looked back, and Kurt had reeled his rod in and set it down and still had a shiner on it. I looked back, and the rod's doing this. There was literally 3 feet of line out, 4 feet of line out. The fish was getting up. A bass ate it under the boat and was getting tangled in my power poles. It was sitting right next to the boat. So, you know, kind of funny things that happen on the water.
Yeah, right.
Pretty cool.
That's awesome. Right, so real good
some good days
from last week. This weather coming up this week is going to be hit and miss rain. So the weekend, I think we're going to see rain. Tomorrow's going to be more overcast. And then Saturday, Sunday rain. I think Monday clears a little bit. Tuesday back to rain. Wednesday back to rain.
Yep.
We're going to be running 60s up to the 70s. Well, actually down to 40s for a little bit, 50s, and then normal. Just getting back to a normal lower 70s.
Tomorrow
during
could be
day.
the warmest day, but you're right. It's supposed to be cloudy, rainy. Listen, that's how I like to fish.
Yeah, right.
That's how I like it.
Yep.
Danky.
Yeah. That's where we're going weather-wise, folks. So there'd be some good times out there if you can handle the rain and the cold. Put on just warm jacket and go for it.
Yes.
Yep.
So from there, we want to also call out Davis House Inn. Just want to mention them real quick. Always a great place to stay, and they're of course on the water. Big rooms, more like efficiencies than hotel rooms. You don't feel cramped. Plenty of space.
Beautiful place.
Yep. Again, right on the Indian River. You've got walking distance to best restaurants and multiple restaurants. It's not like you got a choice of two. There's more like there's got to be 7 or 8 restaurants at least down there.
The crab stop. I say this every week. The crab stop, man. You go there, you'll be text messaging you saying, "You're right."
Yep.
Yep. You got Jamaican food right down the road. I mean, there's a lot of seafood, Jamaican food.
Stop at one place, have a drink, move on down to the next place. So, you know, if you're on a weekend, chances are you're going to find live music at these places. So, just an all-around great place to stay. Okay, so your first step, get hold of one of these guys when you're coming down for a trip. Step 2, call Davis House Inn. Mention Hooked on Headwaters, and you will get a discount from them that you're going to really like. So, information down below. Make sure you check them out. We're going to jump over to Dan now again with the map. Going to the map. The map is back.
Okay.
Go ahead and cover some stuff on there, so take it away.
All right, so I'll just do a quick overview of things that, just to kind of give you guys of kind of lake conditions, and then revert back to a little bit of what Jerry and I have been talking about, where some of the areas we've been catching fish. So this is the northernmost end of the lake. Here's the boat ramp. So this area known as the what I call Fellsmere Reservoir.
That's the duck hunting section.
The duck hunting section and fishing. So you have kind of a line, a canal that separates one half from the other. The western half still has green water in it. I was in there, I think Dave and I were in there a week ago, and the water you could see maybe 10, 12 inches. Now, I don't like fishing dirty water, but there are resident fish here. You just got to hunt for them. You got to find them. All this is basically flat bottoms with ditches and things like that. You can get on your phone and look at an aerial photos, and you'll start to see some of the stuff. The hydrilla in this area, of course, there's a hydrilla here. There's hydrilla over the whole lake. So this portion here, the water is much clearer and cleaner. Some places it's like tap water clear over in here. However, the hydrilla is still pretty close to the surface, so you can get back in a spot and have a hard time getting back up on plane. There are some fish in here. It's just, again, some of the stuff is near topped out and hard to fish.
I'm not sure that it's going to leave this winter at all. It's going to stay there.
Last year it thinned out really well, and I was able to catch some fish over there, but so far things have not been the same, which is typical Florida. So I haven't been fishing over in this area much. This is almost not really fishable unless you have a mud motor, some of it. This the western portion of this area is fishable. Most of this is about 3 foot of water or less. There is some deeper holes here. Getting on down, so this would be the flagpole. Just to give you guys a reference, we'll have a larger map coming soon. These areas here, this is your east-west canal. Typically, the water will be clearer from here as you go south all the way down to the bottom end of the lake. If we have a hard north wind, it'll blow some of this green water in here at times and color up this water a little bit. But you get a hard south wind, it'll blow it back out and it'll end up clear. So some of the areas that Jerry and I have been talking about with the hydrilla, the 3 to 5, I really want to say 7 and 8 foot, but it's because of the holes. We have a photograph here that was given to me by, I believe, one of the fisheries biologists, an aerial photograph before they completely flooded it. You guys will be really amazed at how much they dug out there. It's a photograph of this area in here. That's very impressive. So these areas all in here, this is a lot of cypress trees here. I haven't been in here in the last couple weeks around all the cypress trees. I've been more down toward the south.
That is one of the places that I was catching the fish yesterday on the topwater plugs.
Yeah, okay. So
in the cypress mazes, where the cypress trees are. Yeah.
So interesting thing that you guys should know coming down, when you see cypress trees in a line, always remember they dug little windy creeks there. On one side or the other of those trees is going to be deep water, and I'm talking 7 to 12 foot. The other side might only be 3. So there's always deep water. These guys, the biologists, they plan this out. They planned it this way. Yeah, so fish always have somewhere to go, so you always have some kind of deeper water. Okay, so let's flip over, and we're going to be going further south from there. All right, again, the flagpole's about here. And again, you go, so the flagpole is somewhere about in this area right here.
Now you're cooking with oil on this side. This is where we fish.
Yeah. Well, you know, I fish a lot of the area of the lake. I spend more time around the midsection just because I like it. I'm confident in those areas that I can usually put my customers on some consistent fish. Now last year, getting about this time, I need to go down here and do some more looking. I caught them good down in Egan as well. So again, all these areas here, there's a lot of hydrilla, and I look for clean hydrilla with depressions and holes, and I've been catching a lot of the fish in the holes, and like right on the edge where the grass will come up, you can visually see it. Make sure you have your polarized glasses. Just like you guys with the tilapia fishing, the sun and wind make a big difference. That's how well you can see. We had issues yesterday morning with the cloud cover.
Yes.
You just couldn't see the holes, so you're not as effective. But when the sun's out, get a little ripple on the water, get the sun kind of behind you, you can see these holes. As you go on south, I think this is kind of known as the square pit holes. To me, that's a dark looking water here.
Yeah, that always seems to be dark.
Yep. This area in here is pretty doggone shallow. It's hard to get in there. You get in there, you run in there with your bass boat, you're going to be on your trolling motor coming out probably in this particular area. As you move south, again, there's a lot of mazes and a lot of holes they dug. A lot of the hydrilla we're talking about with clean water and holes. There's literally fish all over
everywhere.
This body of water.
Everywhere.
And it's not an exaggeration. You can set down and catch fish just about anywhere. Some areas I feel like will have more fish than others.
Some areas have bigger residential fish than other areas. Some areas are just 2 and 3 pound fish. Some areas are 6 and 7 pound fish, and then you have some areas that are just, they're just big fish in those places.
And it changes. It changes too much. It's frustrating sometimes the way this changes.
You lay in bed at night talking about, I'm going to get them tomorrow, and you get in there and you're like, what happened?
Yep, things have changed. Yep. Things do change. So
real quick, typically freshwater, green lens, bronze behind it, green on the front, bronze or brown on the back for sunny conditions, right?
That's what I
Switch
fish.
to yellow, cloud cover, will help give you that better. Yellow lens will do a lot better in a cloudy condition as far as being able to see in there. Because I know for bow fishing, that's what I want to do. And I usually got 2 pair on my head because we get, with those days where clouds come and go, I'll be switching back and forth and back and forth to see which ones work better. But yeah, always good to have a pair of yellow glasses on board. So when it does get cloudy, get rid of the regular green face, the green front and bronze, and go to the yellows. For sure, give that a go and see how it does. Good rundown on the lake, I tell you.
Sure.
Yes.
If there's let me see, I was trying to think of.
Let me see that.
Yeah, let Jerry go through that. I got a question we're going to throw out here in a minute.
So over here in the cypress maze, now this is kind of where I was at the other day fishing, yesterday matter of fact, and I was fishing some top water. Now I also do, when I do artificial fish, I catch a lot of fish in here on rattle traps as well. But for my most part, I stay, I would say 90% of my time, I stay from here up into this general direction right here. This is kind of the area that I like to fish. This is Farm 13 stick marsh right here. This is the structure to the Farm 13 stick marsh. So there's a canal that runs right along through here, and I stay, a lot of sawgrass in here, a lot of sawgrass islands, little patches, 100 feet by 50 feet, some of them are 100 yards long, some of them are 50 yards long. But there is a lot of, on this line right in here in this area, there's a big drop off that comes off of this major flat right here, and then you come into the, like Dan was saying, you'll go from 2 to 3 foot of water to 8-9 foot of water. A lot of hydrilla ledges right in here, and then there's a lot of sand bottom right in this area, especially right in here where you come right in through here. There's a lot of sand bottoms, and this is where I spend most of my time right here. I did find a place. I'm kind of trying to figure out how this map is set up here. I did find a place up around, I'm not going to tell you exactly where it was at, but up around the flagpole, I found a place today that I had never fished, that I fished with shiners today, that it's going to be a good spot. It's going to end up being a really good spot. I'll probably end up being in there first thing in the morning. I stopped there at the end of the day today, and we lost 2 big fish in there. And it's, I mean, you're literally 100 feet, 200 feet from the flagpole.
Yep. Here's your challenge then, guys, this week, or next time you're out. Go somewhere brand new.
Yep.
Yeah.
Forget any spot you fished before. Go somewhere you have not thrown a line, and stay in those areas for the whole day. Just challenge yourself, because you know, most, you know how much territory you cover. I know, you know how much territory that we cover.
14,000 acres out there, and you've got to cover this lake.
But the average person, I know, he can cover 10%.
No.
You hit the same spots over and over and over, looking for the same catch results. And when they don't, it's like, oh, this lake stinks. Well, no, move position. So, yeah, challenge this week. Report back to us. Let us know. Say, hey, I took your suggestion, went to a brand new place, and man, I just tore them up.
The way they laid this out, Dan just hit it perfect. No matter where you've got shallow water and you've got cover, somewhere rarely close to that, there is deep water.
Yep.
There's place. It's just like a buck being out in the field, and then he's got this big head of woods that he can just run off in and hide. These fish have always got, no matter where you are in this lake, they are always close to deep cover that they can get in and hide.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it's just countless, endless places in this place that you can catch big fish. Endless places.
So now, what Jerry's talking about is south. Basically all of the enhancement is south of the east-west canal.
Yep, correct.
Okay, so this area, it has the ditches as we discussed. So this area is much different up here, where they don't have as much deep water. But this is Florida. There's fish everywhere in the lake.
That's kind of like on the reservoir side. The reservoir side is more just a big flat.
Yep.
To where the south, down at that far end of it, it's got a lot of big pits, I mean, we were just looking at the aerial map. There must be 2,000, 3,000 holes that they dug in this place. It looks like somebody set landmines off in it. So, I mean, you know, you might be somewhere to be 2 foot, and then it's 8 foot, then it's 3 foot, then it's 7 foot, then it's 9 foot, and then it's 4 foot. I mean, it's just literally, there's just holes dug out everywhere in this place.
And for you guys from up north, in Florida, in my opinion, deep water is like 7 foot and over. You know, for Florida, deep water, if I'm fishing deep on any other lake, just almost any other lake in the state, I'm fishing over 7 foot. You know, this lake, the deepest I've seen is 30 foot. We have a lot of 15 to 25, a lot of good deep water.
That's like Kenansville Lake. The steepest spot in that whole 2,500 acres is 9 feet. Garcia, same way, unless you're in the pit, 9 feet. This place here, I mean, you can be running along in 2 foot of water, and in the length of a boat, you're in 18 foot of water. I mean, it's just like that in there.
Absolutely. All right. So, hey, quick hack here. I was just bouncing around the internet looking for something to throw out here at you guys. This is one that probably a lot of us deal with, at least the ones of us that catch fish. It'll rain. Yeah. If you get that, keep a bottle of Windex on board. What, you think it's a joke? So you can squirt your glasses? The ammonia takes the fish smell off your hands. So it's a good way if you want to clean your fishing rags off, just squirt them out Windex, rub them together, stick them in the water, clean them off. That'll get a lot of the slime and
that's a good idea.
Kills off the bacteria and stuff. So it just gets rid of the fish. I don't care about it, but for those that do.
That works, but that's not what he said earlier. He had me laughing or talking about don't drink Windex or something.
No.
I thought that's what he was saying.
This is the new challenge. This is not the new internet challenge, drink Windex. So, but yeah, just that simple little bit of ammonia that's in the Windex goes a long way to take that off of you. So when we're bow fishing and we get a hold of a big gar, those things stink.
Yeah, they stink.
Right? So it's a good way to just kind of get that gar stink off of you. So there you go. There's your little quick hack for the week. And we got maps back in there. We've got a bigger map on the way, so we'll have that on a big board, so it'll be easier to see. Dave, you got anything you want to throw in there? Kayaking?
So this week, Saturday, went out kayaking, and I tell you, we hit them pretty darn good. kayak launch is right here, northwest corner, and we just worked our way over, and we hit them all along there. There's some nice little cuts, little bays in there. So it is dirty water, but well, visibility is very low. But the fish were in there. They were kind of high and tight. This was late afternoon, so but they are there, and it was a good day, good afternoon out.
So if you want to take a kayak fishing trip, make sure you get hold of Dave, Living Waters Kayaking. Hit him up. Great time, great kayaks. You know, it's just a ton of fun, different experience.
It is.
You know,
it's a unique on the water experience.
Yep. Yeah. Whole
Kind of at
different
the
deal.
alligator level, if you will.
Stop! You're gonna run off all the. I tell I killed my cousin because he freaks out when I tell him, "Come on, let's go fish." No, I ain't getting around them alligators. He's like, "Hey, come on up here." I ain't getting around them bears.
Folks, I've been kayaking a long time. Been around alligators. Never, not once have there been any type of incidents. They're just more. They're more spooked of you. They see me coming. Even the big boys. They just take a dive.
You could tell today was warming up because there was actually where we were at. There were 3 or 4 10, 11 footers that were actually starting to come out in the lake and move around. So we've kind of been hid for the last week or so. But and they don't bother you, man. I mean, listen, they're part of it. I want to see them. I want to see them.
Absolutely.
I like to see them because everywhere I see them is where I catch fish.
Well, they're not there for no reason.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. They're eating.
They're kind of my gator fish. I'm fishing this area.
Yeah, it's funny to say that on Saturday. I worked the areas where the birds were. The birds were hanging around. Boom. That's where I was working, and that's where I was hooking into some decent fish.
Yeah, so look at those things. Look at the gators where they're hanging. Look at the birds, like Dave said. Look where they're feeding.
Look for life. That's how I call it. Look for life on the water.
Activity going on, bait fish jumping around. Be observant of what's going on around you, because that's going to clue you in on places to fish that you might not.
I'm not sure they were little shad or what they were today, man, but they were just bait just scattering everywhere, and then something would just blow up on them. I mean, they're definitely in there.
Definitely pay attention to your surroundings and what's going on. It's a big clue. Nature tends to lead you in the right direction if you key in on it.
Beautiful place out there.
All right, folks, another big announcement we got for you here is, as most of y'all by now probably know, we have teamed up with American Bait Works. Great company. They've got a bunch of companies underneath their umbrella there. And what we are doing with them now is we're assembling 3 different bait kits for you. So if you're coming down, you're like, I don't know what to use, not quite sure, we've got you covered. We've got a top water bait kit that we're going to be putting together. We've been talking to our guy there, we got a guy. So at American Bait Works, we're doing some stuff with them, really cool stuff. So anyway, top water bait pack. Then we've got the punch-in, swim jigs, kind of that style of fishing pack that's going to be put together. And then we have a variety pack that kind of gives you a little bit of everything from a top water to chatterbait and some worms and some different things like that. So this will eliminate your potential frustration of stopping a Bass Pro going, I don't have an idea, so
put
these
a little kit together.
This will be a kit ready to go that has the best color combinations that are working out here, the most popular baits that are working, and we'll be announcing those, or we'll have those before too long. They're being developed now as far as the kits being put together. Once we've got them in hand, we will go ahead and let y'all know. We'll know where you can get them and how to get them, and they're great value for the dollar too. This isn't something you're going to be paying $100 for, a pack of baits. Great pricing and a good selection. So that's coming. One other thing, as you might notice, we are all decked out in the Headwaters shirts.
Model.
That's it. So we have got them on the website. We got a good supply of them for now. They're starting to move. So, but if you want to get your hands on some, you better get on them now. Otherwise, you'll have to wait for our next order, and sometimes that can take a little bit. So we've got blue ones, we've got white ones. The ones we have in white, like Dan's got on here, have the hooked on.
I like that one.
The Headwaters on the sleeves.
I like that one.
So you can order those up, and we do have blue ones you can order.
We're clearing out the blue ones. The blues are only available in large and extra large. Very limited supply.
So that's where we're at. So definitely head on over to hookedonheadwaters.com. We're going to be building out that site even more. We want to make it your #1 resource to go to for everything Headwaters and the other local lakes. So you're going to start to see best places to eat, best places to stay. You're going to see the tackle packs. We've got our shirts. We've got information on the lakes. We've got videos on how to navigate the lake, our updates that we do here. So anything and everything you're going to want to know, just bounce over to hookedonheadwaters.com and go ahead and just bookmark that page so you can save it, and then keep an eye out.
And tell a friend.
So, that's right.
Tell a friend. Send them all over.
Exactly. And for some quick information, if you like, you can also check out HeadwatersLakeFellsmere.com as well. That'll give you some just some basic overview of the lake and some things like that. So one of the two, but Hooked on Headwaters is going to be your resource. So
with that said,
we're going to go ahead and wrap up this edition of Hooked on Headwaters. Thanks to Jerry, as always, Dan, as always.
Yes.
Really appreciate you guys. These guys are doing a great job out on the water. Lots of happy customers, lots of great pictures that we're able to post up in the video, so look for them. If you want to get hooked up for a trip,
Give us a call. Come catch a fish.
Amen.
their information
or
there.
go to the guide page on our website, and we'll hook you up with them, or give Barry and I a call, and we'll hook you up as well.
Yep, absolutely. So you got the best of, if you want shiner fishing, you want live bait, or you want artificials, either one of these guys can take care of you. So, good to go. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
So long, everyone. God
See ya.
bless.